in the same vein of retiring, another guy that I feel like is kind of on the verge of retiring, and it may be after this 3-fight PBC deal, is Canelo Alvarez, right? So the first, the third of the deal, he fought Jermall Charlo. Everybody wants the David Benavidez fight, fight David Benavidez next. Somehow the Terrence Crawford rumor has like found itself in the mix. Maybe he'll fight Terrence Crawford, but it looks like the winner of the sweepstakes is Jermall Charlo. So I'm hearing that for Cinco de Mayo weekend, which we know Canelo Alvarez fights every weekend. I'm sorry, every year, that he's going to fight Jermall Charlo next. What is your opinion there?
I mean, I'm not surprised, right? I think this is one of because we initially thought Canelo was gonna fight Jermall originally, and then it just so happened to be Jermall, which shocked a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So him fighting Jermall wouldn't be a surprise to me, especially given Canelo's his tactics, right? To take on fights that he's clearly the superior fighter in this sense. Looks like he's not trying to take any risk. He is ducking Benavidez, right? So if he's ducking Benavidez at this point, he might as well just try to, collect as much money with the least amount of risk. And Jermall seems to favor or fit the criteria. So I mean, I'm not really too surprised. It's not a fight that I'm really too excited about. It's like whatever. So, but like it's running its course. I'll be probably more entertained with the Terrence Crawford moving up to 169. Fighting Canelo versus Jermall, but then again, I mean, Canelo will be too big for Terrence Crawford, So
I think Crawford going to 168 is just too much. I'm not really interested. I mean, I will watch it because of the names, right? But I don't know if I feel like Bud can just maybe fight some guys at 54, try to maybe clean up 54 if you can. But 68 is such a long stretch. But I know it's the money fight, right? But yeah, Jermall was supposed to be the first fight. He had the mental health issues. His brother had to step in. Based on his last performance, I mean, there's still glimpses there, right, of a good fighter, but I just don't know. It seems like he probably needs another fight in between, a little bit more of a more difficult fight before he fights Canelo. But this is a good time for Canelo to get him. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, Canelo could. I'm not saying Canelo couldn't beat him if he was at his absolute best, but I'm just saying this is, like you said, this is kind of like, I'm getting paid, low risk here. And in my opinion, I always thought Jermall. It's just my personal opinion. I thought Jermall was the better of the two. Like when they were the same weight class, I thought he just seemed like a little bit better than his brother. I know his brothers had more success due to the Undisputed and everything than Jermall's long layoff, but I do think Jermall would probably go in there and fare better than Jermall did. But just right now, at this point of his career and just where he's at, what he's dealt with, I just can't see him going and winning that fight. You know what I'm saying? I just really can't see it. And I mean, I feel bad for Benavidez because the guy's really trying to get the fight, and I do think he deserves the fight because it all started from that WBC belt, that he lost. You know what I'm saying? I was the champion. You did become undisputed, but you never really took the belt off me. So you know what? Just show everybody that you're better than me, beat me, and then what I'm saying, everything's good. But it just seems like he's not going to get that fight because it might be Jermall. Then he might fight Terrence, and that's a 3-fight deal. And to be honest, I could see him hanging it up after that.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's just disgusting how the sanctioning bodies is really not necessarily because they have these mandatories, and this guy has been as mandatory for years, and they're still not pushing it or looking to strip Canelo because of Canelo's name. It goes to show how political and corrupt boxing is, which is a very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate for David Benavidez, and this, to me, I think this is probably like the craziest duck in all boxing history since I've been alive, right? Since I've been watching boxing. It is crazy. I've never seen a superstar fighter duck a fighter like Canelo's ducking Benavidez, and I used to kind of give Canelo benefit of the doubt, like, oh no, he's gonna fight him. I don't think but now it's like, I don't have no excuse for this guy. Like, I'm even like surprised by it. So
yeah, I mean, for our entire audience, but particularly the Mexican audience, when you think of like Cinco de Mayo weekend, and I know Benavidez is, I think he's Mexican and Argentinian, maybe.
Yeah, I believe so. I'm not sure
he's not full Mexican, but for the Mexican audience, when you think of like a Cinco de Mayo weekend, would you, like, how would you guys feel about, two Mexicans fighting opposed to like, like Canelo fighting anybody else, does that magnify it for you, or does it not mean anything as long as you can have like, as long as one guy's in there representing the culture? Just in my opinion, this could just be ignorant speaking. I just felt like, how could it be bigger than, two guys representing the culture on Cinco de Mayo? You know what I mean? So I just feel like it would just boost everything. I mean, Canelo's already inked the deal, so he's getting paid what he's getting paid. But I just feel like, well, I'm sure pay-per-view back ends, can fluctuate. And I just feel like if he fights Benavidez, they're gonna make even more money than if he fights Jermall. You know what I mean?
100%. Oh, and his mother's Ecuadorian.
Ecuadorian, apologies, Ecuadorian. Yeah. Yeah. But I would like I said, I feel bad for Benavidez. I think Jermall will go in there and do better than Mel did.
Hmm.
Because I think Maul just has that really, really good jab, you know what I'm saying? And it'll probably, it won't keep Canelo at bay. Canelo will stalk him, but he'll get hit with the jab sometimes and it'll back him up a little bit. But like I
And
said,
hits
just
harder. He's the
yeah, and
bigger
just just
puncher.
just what he's been through, what we saw against Jose Benavidez, I just don't think he's ready for a Canelo fight. I feel like he would need a fight in between to knock some more of the rust off, a little bit more of a challenge, and then go into something like that. But I mean, it's kind of like easy money, you know what I'm saying? Easy, like Kobe.
Easy
Remember
licking.
Kobe said that to Kyrie, like, yo, easy money, easy money. That's how I feel about this fight.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So only time will tell, but we will see, hopefully that third fight isn't Terrence Crawford, it is David Benavidez, but who knows, man? Who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I mean, for David, I guess if you can't get the fight, Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol is confirmed. I believe June is in the month of June. So maybe it's time to move up. But I mean, I know he's a big guy, but in all fairness, does he move up and take one of those guys his very first fight? Does he need to acclimate to the weight? I don't know, but it doesn't look like he's going to get the shot at 68. So it might be time to move up to 75, or maybe he could also. I know he was talking about fighting Munguia, but I know Morel's another guy too. So I guess I don't know what the legacy will look like if he just like cleans up the division around Canelo, but never gets a shot at the titles. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it'll like, to no fault of his own, hinder his legacy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
maybe
it
it's time to
definitely
just
won't.
go up and try to fight for those belts.